Hello and welcome to the Devine Witch. My name is Debbie. I am the proprietor slash owner of the Devine Witch group in Ohio. So you're probably asking, what is the Devine Witch? The Devine Witch was a group that I created over a year ago with in mind because I seen a lack in the community for people to gather within the paganism umbrella. And I wanted to create a group where people could feel free to come and go as they wish. They don't have to come to every meetup. They don't have to come to every event. We also do a lot of online work as well on Facebook. You can find us, The Devine Witch. On our website, it's called truthteller2095.com. And on our website, we have about our events and other surrounding events that are happening. We also have different articles written by different witches. So that way you're not just getting one path, you're getting multiple paths and different perspectives, different ways to celebrate, different rituals, different ways of doing magical things, because it does vary a little bit from each path. So that was my goal in mind when I created the Devine Witch. And we are ever growing and continuing to grow. And if you would like to know more, follow us on Facebook, look us up online, and you will learn more about what our mission is and what we like to do. So before I continue on, most are wondering, well, what's the difference between a group and a coven? Now, a group is people, like I said, who can come and go as they please. It's not like you're tied to a certain thing, like you have to be at every meeting, you have to do this, you have to do that. You can't do your own spell work because it might mess with the chi of the coven, and you don't have to go through as many channels. And it gives you the freedom of what a solitary witch would have, but the community that a coven would have. So that is what the difference is between a group and a coven. Because covens, you have a certain hierarchy. It's just like if you have no clue about any magical paths at all, think of it as a church. You have your preacher or your priest. Or we have a priest or a priestess. And then it just goes down and different things. They're similar, but not the same. Because every path is different in its own way. So hopefully that answers your question on that. So I want to go through some of the questions that normally people will ask who do not know about the path. They may know somebody who identifies as pagan or Wiccan or Celtic or Druid, eclectic maybe, and you do have Christian witches as well. So when it comes to identification and things like that, it can vary, but most people that you'll meet will identify as pagan because it's like Christianity. It's an umbrella term, and it's easier to be like, well, this is what I am, this is what I am, and blah, 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 blah. It's just like you have your Baptists and other things. It's an example to show you what it means, but normally you'll hear somebody say, I'm pagan. Let's see. I got a little list right here of what I would like to cover. What exactly do you do as a witch? Well, as a witch, we believe in nature. No matter what path you follow, no matter if you're into the voodoo or if you're into shamanism, or if basically whatever path you're in, it varies a tad bit. Some prefer to work with oils and herbs and do more of a kitchen witchery. Some prefer to do rituals based around either the sun, the moon, a certain day. Some just like to do spell work. Some like to do energy work. It all depends upon that person. So for me to sit here and say, well, this is what we do, this is how we do it, isn't really correct for me to say. So what type of holidays do you have? Most of our holidays are based around the sun. So we have our major holidays, and then we have our minor holidays. And then depending on what path you follow, it can change in the name. There might be a little bit more in one path and a little bit less than the other. And then it also depends upon the witch as well. Some prefer to follow certain holidays. Some don't. Some like to go out and do the maypole or jump over the fire, or, it just depends upon the holiday. It depends on their belief system, and it depends on what it is that they want to do. Some people just celebrate it like a regular holiday, like other people would. So, you have a feast and you get together and you have good times and good energy and you say your blessings and you say how thankful you are for something. And that's how some people do it. Not all practices, not all ways of doing are the same. We're all different. We all have our different beliefs. And sometimes we intermingle different faiths, and that's where you get the eclectic. Are you evil? Evil is a man concept. The whole good versus evil thing, what one person thinks is good, another might think is evil. What one thinks is evil, one might think is good. So it's really hard to determine that. And this is the code that I personally live by. I remain neutral, because you can't have anything in life without a yin and a yang, the good and the bad, no matter what it is in life. And that's the balance that I like to keep. I don't favor one over the other. Doesn't mean that I'm going out there hexing people. No. Does it mean that I haven't before? No. It just depends on the person. Because see, when you're a witch, you have the ability to shape and bring forth what you want, as long as you got the intent and the energy to put into it. So if someone does something wrong to you, and let's say you're more of the Christian path, you hear, turn the other cheek. Well, some of us, we wait for karma to come back and do the work, and we wait. Some of us prefer to speed it up. It doesn't mean that we're trying to harm them or hurt them. It just means that we're trying to teach them a lesson that apparently they haven't learned yet. So hopefully that answers your question. Another favorite of mine that I always hear is animal sacrifices. Do you do animal sacrifices? Now, when it comes to animal sacrifices, and you ask this to any witch, normally they're going to get mad, because they're looking at you like you're just wanting to pick, you're not wanting to learn, and you're just being an a-hole, pretty much. Let's be blunt about it. But realistically, if you look at all magical religions, that's not a bad question to have. Animal sacrifices and human sacrifices have been in our history for millions of years. So for someone who is unknowingly wanting to know, like, do you sacrifice? Do you not? It's not really them being mean. It's just history has that in it. Now, there are some traditions where a chicken may be used as a sacrifice. Some prefer to sacrifice their own energy. That's what I prefer to do, which means I put all the energy that I got into whatever I'm working, and that's my sacrifice. Or some might use their own blood, their own something from themselves. Sorry, I got the hiccups. So as far as anybody out there wondering for animal sacrifice, it doesn't happen all the time, but I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, because the whole reason with the sacrifices is the belief that it breathes energy into your spell work. Now, there are some, such as the Aztecs, where they used to actually sacrifice humans to the sun god, because they believed by doing this that it would keep the sun around and they would be able to contain and keep up with their way of life. Of course, as time moves on, we advance and we know, okay, the sun's been here for a while. No matter if you sacrifice that virgin on top of the hill, the sun's going to be there until one day it's just poof. That's the life of any star. So hopefully that answers your question. Can men be witches? Of course they can. Some men prefer to be called warlocks. It just depends on or wizard. It really depends on the individual that you're talking with. Normally when people think of witches, especially I know me when I was growing up, you would think of females. So it depends on the person. If you know someone who's in paganism community, ask them what they prefer to be called. I mean, some don't care to be called witches, some do. It just depends on the person's preference on what they wish to be called. So hopefully that helps you out. What's the different paths? Like I said, there are so many different paths, and I can't honestly cover them all in this video. So here's what I'll do. I will link a link down below, and it will show you the different branches that have started. Shamanism is one of the oldest. You do have your Celtics, your Druids, your Greeks, your Egyptians. So any major civilization that has been around that had different gods, there are paths that people choose. Some people feel connected to those paths for the reason being that maybe it was a past life experience, or it's just something that has called to them ever since they were younger and they always liked. It really depends on the person. And then you have people who are like me, who like a little bit of everything. I find the connection in everything, and I believe that there's a little bit of, it's like a puzzle for me. Like each puzzle piece fits in a certain way. Because if you don't know any of our history, a lot of our books were burned. And when that happened, we lost a lot of information. But even before that, word of mouth was how we would know. Because a lot of the times when certain situations arise and one group goes after another, you know, you gotta work in secrecy. You got to make sure that no one's going to come after you, which in this day and age, no one's going to come after you with a pitchfork. No one's going to burn you at the stake. And no one's going to hang you for being a witch or try to drown you. These were some of the things that they would do. There are different trials that they would test out. But that's going to be for a different video. I'll go all into the history of the witch trials. So make sure to subscribe so that way you guys know what's coming and you'll be able to see the videos as they're posted. So, let's see. What else do I got in here? Do you wear robes or ceremonial garb, so to speak? Some do, some don't. Some prefer to go in the clad. And if you don't know what the clad means, it means in the natural way that you came into this world with no clothes on. It really depends on the person. Some feel better when they're in the robes or ceremonial garb that they have that's only used for that ceremony. That's it. They don't wear it every day. They just wear it when they're doing their practices. And that's what they do. Some prefer to be all natural. Like, this is how I am. I want to be exposed. Here I am. Now, with that being said, if you're new and you're thinking this is the path for you, please don't go out into public and start getting naked and running around screaming the divine witch told me it's okay, because there's laws in place. So as long as the place that you're at is okay with that, or you have your own private ground, go ahead, be clad, have fun, dance around the fire naked. But if not, get you some ceremonial robes or an outfit that you feel comfortable enough in and you're not really constricted but isn't too free-flowing, because the last thing that you want to happen is to catch on fire. I've seen a few times where it's almost happened, and even though it's funny afterwards, it's not funny in the moment when you see somebody screaming and derobing themselves because they got themselves on fire. Also, another witchy tip for today: don't wear a lot of hair products and have your hair long and flowing down, especially if you have candles presented in front of you. Your hair will go up in flames, and that's not fun for anybody, and that smell does not go away for a long time. I've seen it happen, and I can laugh about it now, but at the time I felt so horrible for this girl. But it's still one of those memories that you laugh at, but you learn, and you kind of just want to share that information with other people. So, what other witchy information can I give you for this first video? How about something that's rarely talked about, but some know about? You'll see it mostly portrayed in like Hollywood movies, the sex ritual. And it's the way that it's portrayed in the movies is nowhere near what it's portrayed in real life. But in the movies, you'll see two people in a circle and they're just going at it and the flames are shooting up, and it's amazing. I've never had that happen. Most of your sex rituals or workings, or even just a simple ritual, some people do that. You can do it by yourself or with another. How it works is you get that energy pumped up, and when you get almost to that point, you stop. Then you start your ritual. Then when you conclude your ritual, you finish. Like, it is the ultimate spiritual tease. But it emanates so much energy by doing that, because you're getting yourself worked up. You know the emotions that you feel when you have that certain relief, and the tension that builds up before that. So that tension helps with your spell work, which these are normally done in sex magic. Sex magic is normally done for love spells and things of that nature, but people can incorporate it in any type of ritual that they want. It just depends on what kind of outcome that they actually wish to achieve from that. What else can I tell you? Let's go for what to expect on this channel. So on this channel, if you read the description, I'm going to go a little bit more into depth about it. I plan to upload videos from people who have found the path, people who are priests and priestesses, to give a little bit more information. We might do some interviews with them, and then later down the road, you might see them again for like maybe a workshop. So if you don't know what a workshop is, it's basically where you go somewhere to learn, but instead of you having to go somewhere, you get to do it in the comfort of your own home, brought to you by the Divine Witch. So these are the things that I'm wanting to do. I want to have candle making, how to use your herbs, crystals, oil, if I haven't already said that. And then we're going to do basic rituals for every major holiday. I will also be posting start over. I will also be posting footage of different events that we have, such as Witch in the Woods, and you guys will be able to see that. And I think that would be pretty awesome. So you get a little bit of hint what to look forward to, because this is going to be one of our events that we do all year round. So please stay tuned. Now, one last thing that I want to talk about, and maybe you can see it, and I'll move a little bit closer. Okay, so this right here is called a pentacle. Okay, a pentacle, the star is always up. For a pentagram, you'll see it like this. That is the difference between it. And that's why most individuals will say that we are satanic. Now, there are satanic witches out there that practice, that's their deity that they choose to work with. So what can we conclude in this? The conclusion is you now officially know what the Divine Witch is, where to find us on Facebook and on the internet. You've had some of the common simple questions that some may ask, and you have a clue on what we are going to do in our future videos. So I think this is our conclusion. So remember, witchy friends, always listen, learn often, love much, take what you need, and give back what you don't. Blessed be. Until next time.